Welcome back to Hi-Fi Lo-Fi, and today I'm unboxing another item just been delivered less than 1 hour ago. It's I got it on Yahoo auction, and this time I'm really unboxing it from new as opposed to unboxing it after already checking that it is what it is supposed to be. So this time I don't even know that it's definitely what it's supposed to be, but I have bought from this seller before, and I can say that I was very satisfied with that. In fact, everything I've bought from Yahoo auction has been perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. And this is another item in the Intec205 series, and spending more time at home. As I think I may have mentioned, in Japan the lockdown is really non-existent. It's a voluntary thing here in Japan. You don't have to stay home. You don't if you don't want to. However, a lot of people are spending more time at home. There we are, these these air pocket packaging things. Leave those on the floor for now. That's a cable, AM antenna. I can see that through the bubble wrap. Now, everything's really lovely. Everything's really well packaged. As from this seller before, I've got some kind of warning note on it. Now, if it's the same as before, it looks very similar to the one they stuck to it before, and I'm guessing it is the same. They're just saying take care, basically. It was about condensation last time, if you remember, if you watched that video. More newspaper, more bubble wrap. Now this is a tuner. So as I said to you, spending more time at home, I decided to try the radio more. I have listened to the radio, but I generally don't listen to the radio much these days. I just can't enjoy it. And not just because it's in another language. I can actually pick up some English language shows, and even the American Armed Forces network on AM. They broadcast on AM, which is of course in the English language. However, FM radio can be pretty good. It can have very good sound quality if you've got a good reception. So this one does not have an FM antenna with it, and I think that's what they already told me when I bought it, when I bid for it on Yahoo auction. Wired in mains cable. This is quite light compared to the other Hi-Fi components that I've bought. Tuners tend to be lighter. They don't have so much going on inside them. And as I said, it's part of the Intec205 series. Now, the Intec205, I did measure this just to check, because I did wonder why do they call it 205, and the other series, why do they call that 275? So lo and behold, when I measured it, it's because it was 205 millimeters and 275 millimeters respectively. Got my scissors ready this time, so I don't have to rip it all apart. Would be good to keep the bubble wrap, very useful if I do sell something and want to send it through the post. Okay, somebody's hair, a long hair has appeared. Somebody's wrapped a long hair. Lovely. Fairly sure that hair is no longer part of packaging. Right, significantly scratched on the top surface. I'll do a close-up shot of this shortly. Significantly scratched on the top surface, which they do say, they do put disclaimers saying, you know, these things are used, they're not new, expect scratches and possible abrasions, dust, dirt, etc. that you would get with age. I didn't realise it was quite as scratched as that. There were quite a few of these on Yahoo auction, so I could afford to be fussy. I chose this one because I'd already bought from the same seller and I got a very good service, and the seller has a very good rating. And the front panel seems fine, which is important. And yeah, so what I'll do is, oh, by the way, I should say that this model is a T-405 TX, a T-405 TX in the Onkyo 205 Intec series. On the back, we've got analog out. We've got the remote control, which remote control connections for other components in the same series, and we have our, as you can see there, we have our mains out, which is always useful. I've explained that before, because of daisy chaining components, because it's there's a serious lack of electrical sockets here in my house and generally in Japanese houses. And we've got, let's have a look at the bottom. Bottom looks fine. The side looks fine. Both sides look fine. So the only disappointment in terms of appearance, and hopefully only superficial, are the scratches on the top. The antenna connections, there's a 300 ohm FM antenna connection. That goes like, you'd have that in a big loop. There's an earth for the 75 ohm FM and the AM. And there's no coaxial FM connection on this. So not a problem for me, because I don't, well, certainly where I've set my gear up, downstairs, there is no coaxial antenna connection. I have one in the whole house, which is in my bedroom, and I have a small TV connected to that. But yeah, there we are, that's it. So I shall do a close-up of it now, and after that I shall connect it, and we'll have a look at it working. Okay, as promised, the close-up shots. So you can see the buttons and controls on there. The Intec205 series has a lot of these very small round buttons on the various components that if you've got large fingers, I think my hands are average size, but if you've got big hands or big fingers, you may struggle a little bit. Let's turn it around. So there we are, side view, very good condition there. There's the rear view, and you can see, as I told you before, we've got the antenna. There's an FM 300 ohm loop antenna there. There's the AM loop antenna connections with an earth, and then also if you've got a 75 ohm FM antenna, you'd put the earth in there. Output, simple RCA analog left and right out. The remote control connections, and the if you want to plug something in there, as I said, daisy chaining components. You've got your mains out, which is fantastic, as I said, because I find that very useful. Serial number on there, and made in Japan. There are quite a few high-end HiFi products made in Japan, but a lot of the mid-priced and lower-priced stuff these days is made abroad. They've got factories in other countries such as Malaysia or Thailand or China. I mentioned the scratches on the top. Maybe you can see there. I think, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not going to affect the performance of it, but I certainly did not see in the exhibit photos on the Yahoo auction site, the scratches were definitely not as visible as those in the photos. The other side okay, and the bottom seems fine. Nice bottom. Okay, there we are. So what I should do now is actually set it up and see how it works. I've got the manual here in Japanese, of course, and I do, although I speak conversation level Japanese, I do struggle with especially the what we call kanji. That's the Japanese characters that derive from Chinese. I do struggle with those for complex issues. So I'm hoping that the device is fairly intuitive and pretty easy to use. It should be. It's only a tuner. And I find it also quite interesting that a lot of Japanese products, not only hi-fi gear, but also things like cars and stuff like that, they often have the switches and stuff labelled in English, even for the domestic market. Basically, Sony is the only manufacturer that springs to mind that has everything labelled in Japanese for its domestic market products and everything labelled in English for its export models. So, but most companies I can think of, including, as I said, cars and motorbikes and things, they tend to have everything, all the switches, labelled in English, which is very convenient if you're not very good at Japanese. I'm actually okay with Japanese, I can cope with that, but very convenient all the same, especially if you're buying from abroad a Japanese domestic market product and you you want to use it in your country, and most people can get by in English regardless of what language you speak. So there we are, and I shall rig it up and try it out, and that'll be in a forthcoming video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.